get you down and you're feeling lonely, when you can't find your truth or find your center, there are many here who gather together. Oh, unconditionally, we love each other, and the scars that we see just make us stronger. We breathe it in together, we'll hold you up with grace. We know that love lives here in you and me. Love lives here. My soul breaks free. I'm so excited to be united with you. Where love lives, where love lives. When life gets you down, you can't see the future. When it all seems too much for you to handle, there are many here who gather together. Oh, unconditionally, we pray together, and the hurt that you feel will be set free. We breathe it in together, we'll hold you up with grace. We know that love lives here in you and me. Love lives here. My soul breaks free. I'm so excited to be united with you. Where love lives, where love lives. Love lives here in you and me. Love lives here. My soul breaks free. I'm so excited to be united with you. Where love lives, where love lives. Love lives here.
Good morning, Riverside. Welcome to Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. I am Reverend Jeffrey Ryan, and it is my distinct honor and pleasure to serve this beloved community where we know that love lives here. We acknowledge that we gather on the unceded territory of the Kauai people, and we commit to living in right relations, to love our neighbor, to seek justice and love kindness, and to walk humbly upon this land. We recognize our oneness, to decolonize our minds and to set each other and each one of us free from the pain of racism and violence, to live better as God intended, in harmony with nature and with one another. So good morning, my beloveds. Welcome. Come on in. As you're coming in, I invite you to say hello and say good morning in the comments and let us know where you are joining us from. Let's see who all we've got already. Good morning, Shawnee. Good morning, the Williams family. Hey, Neil. Good morning to the Kataokas. Good morning to the Ennisons. Good morning, Mom and Dad. Good morning, Pat and Francis. Hey, Seth. Good morning, Allison. Letty Gomez, good morning. And oh, there we go. All right, Shawnee, thanks. So there we are. Good morning, Cindy. Great to see all of you. So if you are joining us on Facebook, I do invite you to go ahead and start a watch party and bring your friends on in to watch with you, to join in this morning's celebration, this morning's gathering. And as you do so, I invite you to make sure that you use the hashtags #WeAreCSL and #LoveLivesHere. Good morning, Denise and Earl. Great to see you. Good morning, Doris. Good morning, my beloved. Oh, good. So good to see you. So great to see you, Doris. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And blessings to you around the same time here of our beloved brother Moses' transition several years ago. So great to see you, my love. Good morning, Lupe. Good morning, John. Great to see you. Wonderful to have you with us. Come on in and let's start off together recognizing that Spirit is alive in us this morning. Good morning, Philip. Great to see you. Come on in and let's start singing together. Spirit is alive in us. Yes, absolutely.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. We're going to play this, and I hope you sing along at home. alive in us. You're alive in us right here. Spirit, you're the light in us. Shining bright through us right here. Spirit, you're the love in us. Reaching out with every touch. Spirit, you're the voice in us. Raising us beyond the hush. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We feel it. Reveal it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We see it, believe it, the spirit. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. We feel it, reveal it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We see it, believe it, the spirit. We see it, believe it, the spirit. We see it, believe it, the spirit. God is, I am right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am. God is, I am right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am. God is, I am. Right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am.
Good morning. I'm Constance Stringfellow, one of the licensed spiritual practitioners here at the Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. I invite you to close your eyes if it's comfortable for you, and let's just turn within. Taking in a deep, intentional breath, breathing in love, and breathing out love. Allowing love to lead our way right here and right now. Consciously allow yourself to connect with this one power, which is greater than all of us. This one power, one mind, one life, one presence, one love, is perfect and whole. I call it God. I'm totally one with the mind of God, the life of God. Every attribute of God is a part of me because God is my life. Every part of me is a part of love, of peace, of wisdom, of order and clarity, of compassion, and so much more. As I know this truth for myself, I know this is true for every person, every experience that we encounter. I honor this sacred connection to all living beings, including our animal friends, the environment, and all of nature. We are always connected through spirit. We have this sacred connection to all of life. Therefore, we are called to be patient with one another, making every effort to maintain a peaceful bond of love, expressing kindness and respect, compassion. Let us honor this sacred connection and plant seeds of love. I know that love is the answer to every question. I bless our minister, Reverend Jeffrey, knowing that he is divinely connected with peace, poise, and confidence, and has a powerful message for us today. I bless our music by Bell John and everyone listening. I know that this service unfolds in perfect divine order, and I just let it be so. And so it is.
This is a great song. It is called The Power of Now by Faith Rivera. I hope you enjoy it. The power of now is always present, nowhere to be than where you are. The power of now flows oh so gracefully. The power of now is always perfect, nothing to be than who you are. The power of now flows oh so easily. Be willing to let go of everything you think you need to know. Oh, be strong enough to let go of everything you think you need to control. For everything goes away. Let everything wash away. The power of now. The power of now is ever flowing, connecting us all to the one. The power of now unfolds so peacefully. Be willing to let go of everything you think you need to know. Oh, be strong enough to let go of everything you think you need to control. For everything goes away. Let everything wash away. The power of the now. The power of now. The power of now. The power of now.
Thank you, Jabel, and thank you, Constance. A beautiful way to start our time together this morning. And so as we move into this time, let us focus our attention and focus our energies by saying and affirming our focus statement together, shall we? So here we go. We embolden people to live their highest potential through the transformative power of love. Once again, we embolden people to live their highest potential through the transformative power of love. So I want to say good morning to Patty Clark. Good morning, Patty. Good morning, Laura. Good morning, Charles. Good morning to the Ralston family. Great to see all of you joining us this morning. So great to have you with us. This year here at Centers for Spiritual Living Worldwide, we are working with the theme, the 2021 theme of Timeless Wisdom, Evolutionary Vision. And that is also the theme that we are working with this month. And today we are talking about here and now. As I mentioned at the beginning of the year, this year we are on an upward spiraling journey to greater heights and deeper understanding, greater insights and deeper understanding. That we are on this collective journey of oneness, moving forward together, individually, of course, but also moving forward together on this fantastic journey of self-discovery, on this fantastic journey of divine unfoldment. So when you think about a journey, my beloveds, when you think about a journey, first you have to kind of, before you even set an idea of where you're headed, you kind of have to know where you are, right? Where are you? What, and be in the present, in the here and now. If you don't know where you are, it's kind of hard to figure out where the heck you're going. Is that right? I mean, sometimes we're kind of lost in the woods and then we just kind of start meandering to figure out, but even still, we assess where we are in the moment. Even if we don't know like the specific location, we have a sense of where we are in the present and in the present moment, in the here and now. So it behooves us to assess where we are, where we have come from, and where we stand currently before we begin our journey out into the greater yet to be. Our spiritual journey, whether it's a spiritual journey or a physical journey or just going to the grocery store, it's always good to assess where we are before we head out. So that we can get a sense of our bearings, so that we can get a sense of what's present in us, what is present with us, and what it is that we are carrying with us as we go about our journey. So in thinking of that, and in thinking that, and realizing that together as a spiritual community and together as an organization and a movement, we are advancing, we are moving forward on this spiritual journey. It is a good idea to take a moment and look at where we are in the here and now, and what it is that we would like to carry with us on this journey. Like, how big of a bag are you going to pack, right? And what are you going to put in that bag for this journey, this particular journey? Now, I used to be a flight attendant, as you well know. And so, my ability to pack for a long period of time in a carry-on bag is really quite extraordinary. So I can pack a lot of stuff for a long period of time in a small bag if I need to. But what is it that I need on the spiritual journey? What is it that you need on this spiritual journey? What is it that you need to bring forth with you and to carry with you on this journey of unfoldment this year? So what do you think? What do you need to carry with you this year? Go ahead and type it into the comments. What are you willing to carry with you this year that you already have, that you are willing to carry with you along on this journey? I have time. You have time. I can wait. What are you going to carry with you on the journey of unfoldment this year? At the end of 2020, we all looked at the white stones and our intentions. So what is it that is going to help you fulfill that, or align you and to fulfill that intention of that white stone this year. So what are you carrying with you on this journey this year? Dinah says, a grateful heart. Beautiful. Commitment, peace, presence, wisdom, openness. My heart. Sense of humor. Oh, yes, definitely a sense of humor. For sure, a sense of humor. Awareness, love, compassion, empathy, forgiveness. Very good, Francis. The allow, says Kenneth. Meditation, life's lessons, wisdom, desire to walk in the fullness of my divine heritage, forgiveness. Another forgiveness. Yes, love, right? So these are the things we're willing to carry with us, right? We're willing to carry these things with us. And recognizing what these things are, we realize that though these things have great power, these things are quite self-love, yes, Doris, that these things are actually quite light and they are easy to carry. Would you agree? That the love, the forgiveness, the self-love, purpose, that this is an easy thing to carry with us. These are easy and light things to carry with us. Now, I want you to think too of, all right, so what are we going to leave behind? Because really, we have a journey ahead of us. And what do we not need to bring? Do we need to bring the kitchen sink with us? Do we need to bring 50 pairs of shoes with us just in case we might go dancing in Rio? Do we need to bring with us a suit just in case? Do we need to bring with us the parka just in case? Do we need to bring with us the swimsuit just in case? Do we need to bring all this stuff with us? What is essential, which is what you've been sharing with us? What is essential to bring with us? But what is not essential to bring with us? What do we need? What is our opportunity to leave behind these things? What things are we going to leave behind? So Francis is saying, leave resentment and grievances. Yes, Francis. What else are we leaving behind? What are we going to leave behind? Leaving anxiety. Yes, excellent. Fear and doubt. Well, there you go. Sense of lack and insecurity, hate, judgment, ego, judgment. What else are we going to leave behind? Just leave it behind. Judgment and blame. Leaving behind fear, overthinking, the past, ego, grudges. What else are you leaving behind? We don't need to carry this with us. They're not going to serve us on our, it's not going to serve us on our journey. What else are we leaving behind? All right, I'll let you think about it as we continue. So this is part of the here and now. We are assessing where we are now. We are assessing that these things live with us. These things are present with us, and we are choosing as we step forward, we are going to leave these things behind. And as we leave these things behind, then what we bring forward is something new, something greater, because we are creating a space. Thank you, Matt. Leaving behind self-doubt. Yes. That we are creating a space for the newness to come in. So, as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, checkbooks. Yeah, there you go. Love that. As I mentioned a couple weeks ago, we are going to be using our timeless wisdom, the wisdom of the ages, the timeless wisdom, as a compass to help navigate us on this journey forward of this evolutionary vision that is pulling us ever forward, that is calling us to higher and greater heights, that we are using the timeless wisdom and spiritual practice to move us forward. So the spiritual practice and the timeless wisdom that I'd like for us to focus on today, or to think about today, to consider today, and several of you have mentioned it, is forgiveness. Now, I know that this sometimes like gets people like all itchy and twitchy, like forgiveness. Why do I have to forgive? Ugh, right? But I would like for us this day to think about forgiveness in a different way. Frequently, we think about forgiveness from a more traditional perspective of forgive and forget. Well, we know that that doesn't always happen, right? But what we also know from a more traditional way that we approach forgiveness in our faith tradition is that it is about forgiving so that we free ourselves of the torment and the anger and the anguish and the pain that we are experiencing as the result of something else. That it is not necessarily a absolving of sin or an absolving of mistake or an absolving of abuse. It's not necessarily absolving somebody else. That it is a clearing, if you will, to allow us to no longer be held hostage to or held victim to whatever the event was, to continue to hold ourselves in confinement and limitation because of something or someone else. So this is the idea that we have of forgiveness that we frequently talk about. That forgiveness is for ourselves, it's not for anybody else. That forgiveness is for us. That forgiveness sets us free. And I'd like for us to look at forgiveness in a slightly different perspective. Emma Curtis Hopkins, the teacher of teachers in the New Thought movement, she taught Ernest Holmes, she taught the Fillmores, she taught the Brooks sisters, all formed different denominations within the larger context of the New Thought movement or the New Thought denomination, if you will. They all taught, they all founded different organizations within them. But Emma Curtis Hopkins approaches forgiveness in this way. It's a different way of thinking about it. She approaches forgiveness as a giving for. So she approaches it as an exchange, if you will, right? So from the mystical perspective of looking at forgiveness, it is an exchange for. It is a releasing something in exchange for something better. Not quite let's make a deal, but kind of maybe, right? But it's not, like what's behind door number one? I'll switch this out for that, right? But it is a slight exchange of energy. It's an exchange of what am I willing to release? And then what am I willing to embrace, or what would I like to receive in exchange, right? Or what would I like to receive instead of? So her approach to forgiveness then is that something is given for something else. So if we are talking about ignorance, she says, forgive my ignorance for thy wisdom. So forgive, in other words, give for my ignorance. I'm giving my ignorance. I'm releasing my ignorance. So instead of ignorance, as I'm releasing it, I'm giving it up. Give me divine wisdom. As I give up limitation, give me abundance. As I give over, or as I release lack, give me prosperity, right? So it is a forgiving, it's a giving up one thing and receiving something greater, something higher. So what I invite us to look at here now is the practice of forgiveness from this perspective. So all of those things that you're leaving behind are opportunities for forgiveness. Forgive my will for thy will. Now, I want us to be really clear that the thy here is the indwelling presence of spirit. It is not some, outside, some deity outside of ourselves, because we recognize that there's only one power, one presence, that it is the indwelling spirit, that the highest most God and the innermost God are one and the same. So therefore, it is not a directing it outward, it is a directing it inward, but it's a directing it to a higher state of consciousness. It is directing it to our higher self that is still the self. So when we ask for forgiveness, that we are then asking that we are, instead of even asking, it is almost an affirming, it is a commanding, it is a demanding that we release something, and in exchange for that, we open and we receive something else. So there, yes, Francis, perfect. I forgive my bondage for peace, for your peace, or give up bondage for peace, right? Give up bondage for freedom. Give up anger. I release anger. I forgive my anger for thy peace. Forgive my self-righteousness for thy righteousness. And this is the thy will be done. Not my will, but thy will be done, right? This is the forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Forgive my perceived lack, my perceived limitation. Forgive my transgressions for justice, for righteousness, for right useness of the law. Forgive my for thy. So one of the things she says is forgive myself for thyself. And that is one that you would use perhaps with, if you had typed in ego, forgive myself with thyself. So I see what you're willing to let go of, what you're willing to release here in the here and now, and leave it behind as we move forward. But what is it that you're willing to embrace? If you leave this behind, what is it that you are opening up to? What is it that you are welcoming to join you on the journey? What is it that you are going to take this rock out of your bag and you're going to replace it with this object of beauty, this garment of beauty, this garment of righteousness? What item are you taking out and what are you replacing it with? So Frances says that she's replacing bondage for peace. What is it that you are willing to forgive? What is it that you're willing to give up, give for, to receive? And what is it that you will receive when you give that up? So I invite you to type that now. What is it that you're willing to release, to give up? And what is it that you're willing to receive in its place? Ego for wisdom. Beautiful. What else? What are you willing to forgive? Prosperity, hope, love, and joy. What are you willing to release or forgive? Another way that you might want to consider this: forgive anxiety for serenity and freedom. Beautiful. Forgive self-judgment for self-love. Excellent. Another way of looking at this same kind of concept, as you continue to fill these in: judgment for grace. Beautiful, Linda. Judgment for grace. Oh, absolutely. Release perception for truth. Yes, Francis. Anxiety for peace. Fear for peace. Fear for love. Yes. So Howard Thurman, the great theologian, wrote this. And this is along the same line. So this is another way of thinking about it. If forgiveness is kind of like, but let's look at it this way. He says, open unto me light for my darkness. Open unto me courage for my fear. Open unto me hope for my despair. Open unto me peace for my turmoil. Open unto me joy for my sorrow. Open unto me strength for my weakness. Open unto me wisdom for my confusion. Open unto me tenderness for my toughness. Open unto me love for my hates. Open unto me thyself for myself. Fear and doubt for faith, fear for peace and freedom, forgiveness of siblings for a new start. Yes, 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 yes. Denise, that brings us right into our next, what else I wanted to share with you this morning, that we don't just do this for ourselves. We do this collectively, we do this together because it has been said that if we want on our journey, if we want to go fast, we go alone. If we want to go far, we go together. But what we know about the spiritual journey is that you cannot go fast on the spiritual journey. You cannot set out to go, I'm going to be enlightened. Now let's go, right? The spiritual journey itself sets the pace. The spiritual journey itself sets the pace. So if the spiritual journey is setting the pace, then, and it would then dictate that we're going, and the spiritual journey also is never ending, right? The spiritual journey doesn't end. It doesn't just stop. It's like, okay, I've arrived, right? It's a continuous unfoldment. It's a continual movement. So if the journey then is endless, the journey then is perpetual, then we have to go far along the journey. So if we can't set the pace, we can't rush it, and we are going to go far, then wisdom would dictate that we go together. Would you agree? Wisdom would dictate that we go together. So this same practice that we have just participated in individually, we also use to travel together on this journey together. For every person that releases fear and doubt for faith, for every person that releases fear for peace and freedom, for every person that releases ego for divine self, judgment for grace, all of the others, for every person that does that, we together release the baggage. We release those things that have been holding us back, that have been dragging us, that have been dragging us as a community, that have been dragging us as a nation. We release those things. We allow those things. We surrender those things. We give them up in exchange for the peace, the love, the faith, the freedom, the new start, the divine self. And we move forward together, lighter, helping each other on our path of unfoldment, helping our nation on its path of unfoldment. This week, we start a new journey in the United States. We start a new journey with a new president and a new vice president, with a new government, if you will. And there are those who want to line our pockets with rocks. There are those who don't want to go with us. There are those who are trying to hold us all back. And in this case, we invoke the words, forgive them for they know not what they do. Forgive them for they know not what they do. Not only do they not know what they do, they have forgotten who they are. And so in exchange for their ignorance, in exchange for forgetting, forgive them their forgetfulness, that they may remember, for your remembrance. Forgive them their ignorance, for thy wisdom. Forgive them their hatred, for thy love. Forgive them their sense of separation, for unity. Forgive them. Forgive them. And we recognize that there is no us and there is no them, so then it becomes forgive us. Forgive us our ignorance for wisdom. Forgive us our hatred for peace, for love. Forgive our unrest, our anger for peace. Forgive our separation, our sense of separation, our belief in separation, for oneness and unity. Dr. King, in his sermon entitled "The Man Who Was a Fool," I kid you not, there was a sermon titled "The Man Who Was a Fool." In his sermon titled "The Man Who Was a Fool," he spoke this: all of life is interrelated. All men are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. And you can never be what you ought to be until I am what I ought to be. This is the interrelated structure of reality. And so it is this that I remind us in the here and now, that we are one. We are interrelated. That what we ask of ourselves, we ask of others. And what we ask of others, we ask of ourselves. What we ask for forgiveness within ourselves, we must ask for forgiveness within our brother as well, our sister, our sibling. What blessings we ask, what blessings we command, what blessings we demand, we also demand for our brothers, our sisters, and our siblings. This is the way forward. This is the path forward. This is the timeless wisdom that we use as a compass to help guide our journey this day. We use the practice of forgiveness. We use the wisdom of forgiveness to move forward this day on our evolutionary journey. So I invite you to join me in the here and now, assessing where we are, where we stand, and open out a way to allow the call of spirit, the call of the vision, to move us forward. Release and receive. It's the law of circulation. Release and receive. So blessings to you this day. It is such an honor and a pleasure to be walking this path with you as we step together into our greater yet to be, as our country steps together in our greater yet to be this week and in the days ahead. Know this with me, that we are one. Always. There's nothing else to be. And so it is. So let's come together in consciousness. I recognize here and now, right here and right now, God is and I am. As we sang earlier, right here, right now, God is, I am. God is, I am. And therefore, I surrender myself. I surrender my sense of self. I surrender my sense of smallness to the greater yet to be, to the greater that already is. I yield so that I may experience a greater yield. I yield my limitation. I yield my sense of lack. I yield my anger. I yield my ignorance. I yield. I surrender. I let go. I release. And I receive. I open and I receive love. I receive peace. I receive freedom. I receive oneness. I receive unity. I receive wholeness. And it's not that they don't already exist, because they already do. It is simply my releasing anything unlike it, anything unlike God, anything unlike these things. It is in the release that I create an open space in which I can experience that which already is. And so in this moment, I experience love, I experience freedom, I experience wholeness, I experience joy, I experience peace and harmony and wisdom. I experience oneness and unity. And recognizing that there is only one, I know that then this is true of everyone present here this day. Because right where I am, the power and the presence of the Spirit is. The divine is. It is the who of who I am. It is the who of who everyone is. Therefore, I know that Spirit is alive in each one. Spirit is at work in each one. And so collectively, we set down the rocks. We remove the rocks from our bags. We remove the weights that have been holding us back. We remove the limitations and the obstacles that have been holding us back. We surrender them. We yield them. And we receive the divine blessing. We receive the divine awakening. We receive the enlightenment. We receive and experience love in all of its forms. Peace, harmony, wisdom. And I'm so grateful for this knowing. This knowing right here and right now. And I release it into the law, assured of its fulfillment. Already, here and now. I let it be, and so it is.
There is peace and harmony. I am free here and now. The past is gone. I'm moving on. I belong here and now. Holy light, thank you for my life. Holy light, thank you for my life. It shines so bright here and now. Here and now. Love today. I'll create. My choice is made here and now. Holy light, thank you for my life. Holy light, thank you for my life.
So we have the opportunity to participate in that flow of circulation that I was talking about, to participate in that of releasing and receiving right here and right now via our conscious contributions. I want to thank everybody for all of your generosity and your continued generosity and your opening and your stepping into that flow of law, that flow of circulation. It is truly a glorious thing to bear witness to every week, to see how this community steps forward, to see how this community continues to give and receive. And it is just a beautiful thing to behold. So one of the easiest ways to contribute to Riverside Center for Spiritual Living is via your phone, via text to give. So you can simply dial or type in your texting 951-419-5858, and then just type in the amount you choose to give in the text box there and hit send. It's just that easy. It is just as easy as texting a friend. And who better than Riverside CSL to text, right? So texting is one way to do it. Giving via texting is one way. Another way is going to our website, and in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see the word contribute. You can click on the word contribute there and contribute through that. Don't forget that we also have our 2 or More fund, which goes to directly support the maintenance of our facility. Even though we are gathering virtually, we're gathering online, we still have the building, and the building still needs some love and attention, and so do the grounds. So the easiest way to do that is also via text to give. Simply the same number, the same amount, or whatever amount you choose to give, and then type in the word MORE, M-O-R-E, after the amount, and then that goes to the text, or that goes to our buildings and grounds, to our 2 or More. And remember, that is above and beyond our normal contributions. And the same thing, you can go to the website, upper right-hand corner, and find it there. So I want to thank you for your continued support, for your continued participation in the law of circulation. And so let's have a song, shall we?
By the way, I got awesome Matt here playing with me. I love you, Matt. Well, I'm grateful for the love that you rain down on me. I'm grateful for the love, for the love. Well, I'm grateful for the love that you rain down on me. I'm grateful for the love, for the love. How about the bounty? Well, I'm grateful for the bounty that you rain down on me. I'm grateful for the bounty. Well, I'm grateful for the bounty that you rain down on me. I'm grateful for the bounty, and the blessings. Oh, I'm grateful for the blessings that you rain down on me. I'm grateful for the blessings, for the blessings. Well, I'm grateful for the blessing that you rain down on me. Oh, I'm grateful for the blessings, for the blessings. Oh, I'm grateful for the love that you rain down on me. I'm grateful for the love, for the love.
Oh yes, Neil, thank you. New to RCSL and want to stay connected and hear about classes, events, and information, sign up for our email here. And then he put the URL there. Thank you, Jubel. Wonderful. Thank you so much. So before we hop on over to after the message on Zoom, which you can join us via the Zoom ID number 249-395-737. That's our Zoom ID. 249-395-737, and the passcode is 92501. Before we jump over there, just a quick announcement here today that spirit groups start the week of January 24th, which is already, I can't believe it, next week, Sunday. Where's January gone? My gosh. So it starts on January 24th. I think I said June. It's January 24th. And this afternoon in our after the Beyond the Message. Thank you. Needing help from my husband and my sister today. Beyond the Message. During Beyond the Message, the group leaders for the spirit groups will be sharing what their group is about and inviting you to join them. So you want to make sure that you join us for Beyond the Message. That will be immediately following here. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I want to remind everybody that Friday was the anniversary of the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And tomorrow we celebrate his life and his legacy. So I invite you tomorrow, today, but particularly tomorrow, to take a moment to really contemplate his teaching, his life, and his legacy. In reading Strength to Love over these past few weeks, the poignancy of his message is so powerful and so strong, and is something to really consider leaning into. I've been leaning into his messages this year as things have been unfolding, especially since January 6th. But as this week unfolds, I really invite you to consider leaning into what he has to say and what he has to share, to reflect on his life, reflect on his message, and reflect on his legacy. And this is the book here, if you are interested in what I've been reading, is Strength to Love. But really take a moment, take time tomorrow. Don't just consider it a day off, but actually take time to remember why we have the day, and that one day is certainly not enough. Peace and blessings. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called love. Love is in my mind. Love is in my body. Love is in everything I do. I am it. I share it. And I receive it, because love lives here, right here. Peace and blessings. I love you.
Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. So let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. We are making a new world now. Happy Sunday. Love you all. Miss you all. Love lives here.
It was so comforting and healing during a time of confusion and unrest. So I would definitely recommend it. It was amazing. And I'm so grateful that I got to meet other members of the congregation and form relationships with them that I wouldn't have otherwise.
Our group was very diverse. I learned a lot about the other members of the group. I would highly recommend this for anyone who's looking to be more spiritually connected.
My experience with the women's group has been very empowering. It's a group of lovely ladies that I feel very fortunate to be a part of.
One of the things that was really nice too, we could be completely authentic and candid, knowing that it was a safe space. I highly recommend it. I think that this would be spirit groups, first of all, would be a great opportunity for you to have a connection beyond what is superficial. So I highly recommend it.
And what an awesome time we had. We got to know our fellow center members a little bit better. We did some sharing and self-discovery, and at the same time with the Nature's Nurturers, we got out into the environment and went on short hikes and of course, social distanced and wearing masks. But what a wonderful time we had with both spirit groups. So I would encourage anybody who's thinking about a spirit group to go ahead and jump in and get involved. It was wonderful.
Love lives here.